अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स। हमने अपने लास्ट 2 लेक्चर्स में जुल्फ़िकार अली भुट्टो की हुकूमत के बारे में पढ़ा था और साथ-साथ उसके बाद हमने ज़िया-उल हक ने अपनी मिलिट्री रजीम के दौरान जो कुछ किया हमने उसको स्टडी किया था। इंशाल्लाह आज हम जो पढ़ेंगे वो है बेनज़ीर हुकूमत का इरा, जो कि ज़िया-उल हक की जब शहादत होगी 1988 में, तो उसके बाद जब इलेक्शंस हुए, इंटरिम गवर्नमेंट ने जो इलेक्शंस कराए, उन इलेक्शंस के नतीजे में जो गवर्नमेंट फॉर्म हुई वो पाकिस्तान पीपल्स पार्टी की चेयरमैन जो थी बेनज़ीर भुट्टो, उनके हक में आई। तो आज हम उसके बारे में डिटेल्स देखेंगे कि कैसे बेनज़ीर भुट्टो को चेयरमैनशिप मिली पीपल्स पार्टी की और क्या पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो था जिसकी बुनियाद पर वो हुकूमत में आई। तो who was Benazir Bhutto? You know very well, Benazir Bhutto was the eldest child born to Zulfikar Ali Bhutto on 21st June 1953 at Karachi. Um, she was very ambitious and intelligent lady, as well as a good student. And she got her education from Oxford University, and she wanted to join Foreign Office, but her father wanted her to contest for the assembly elections. Benazir Bhutto also assassinated her father as an advisor during her father's regime. She was very capable and know the proper definitions of politics, and she was very good in politics. As, when Ziaul Haq Bhutto, as you know very well, we discussed a lot about the assassination of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto by Ziaul Haq government. So when Ziaul Haq imposed martial on 7th July 1977, Benazir Bhutto also sent in jail with his father and other family members. But after some time, she was get permission to go abroad on medical grounds. She returned on 10th April 1986 and received a welcome by 1 million people at Lahore airport. She lived there more than 9 years, and when she came back, she got huge popularity because people um, around Pakistan were in favor of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and they think that his bloodshed was in the hands of military regime. So um, after his assassination, when Miss Benazir Bhutto came back in Pakistan, she got a huge peoples who were welcoming her at Lahore airport. Afterward, as he came in politics, obviously, there were no one. His elder brother was assassinated due to conspiracy of plane crash, and she was the most strong candidate who can took the charge of Pakistan's People's Party. She was the first woman head a democratic government in a Muslim majority nation, ideologically a liberal and secularist. She chaired Pakistan's People's Party from the early 1980 until her assassination in 2007. Ziaul Haq dismissed the government of Junejo and announced that he would re-elect the National Assemblies. So, in May 1988, Ziaul Haq dissolved the assemblies and called our November elections. He had not wanted Bhutto to win, and his choice of date may have been deliberately chosen to coincide with the date when Bhutto was projected to give birth, thus hindering her ability to campaign. However, he also sought to hinder her chances by declaring that elections would be held on non-party basis, with candidates standing as individual rather than representative of a political party. However, Allah knows well what would be happened. In August 1988, Ziaul Haq suddenly died when his aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff from Bahawalpur airport. And after Zia death, the Supreme Court announced that the election should take place on a party basis rather than the non-party basis that Zia had desired. At that time, when all political issues were there, and movement was raising in that time by all political parties called Movement for Restoration of Democracy. Benazir were standing firmly to have a democratic government in future. So she stands from Pakistan's People's Party and campaigns separately, as well as from his socialist platform in favor of economic terrorism. Amid prediction that Pakistan People's Party would win, it received 18,000 prospective candidates, many offering the party money for their selection. This influx of new members and candidates caused upset among many established members who felt that Benazir was deserting them. As it happens, students, in all political parties, whenever there are new addition in political party, the old members and the members who set up the party or were the initial members of the party resist for the change. However, Islamic fundamentalists said it was an Islamic for the country to have a female leader. Their propaganda foregrounded what they presented at her un-Islamic behavior, including a photo of her dancing in a Persian nightclub. These were that tactics which were played by opponents of Benazir Bhutto during political campaigns, especially from the great rival party, Pakistan Muslim Islami Jamhuriyah, Ittihad, IGI. Zia loyalties and Islamic fundamentals united to form a new political party, Islami IGI, which was founded by Inter-Service Intelligence. The ICI also engaged in vote rigging in an attempt to source an IGI victory. It was said by all analysts who were looking over election campaigns and the process of elections during voting process. Despite these difficulties, Benazir Bhutto led the PPP to victory in the elections, taking 93 of the 205 contested seats. The IGI took 54 only seats. Although the party secured control in Punjab, the country largest and most powerful province, this means that the PP had the largest number of seats, although not a clear majority. Both the Pakistan People's Party and IGI courted independent MPs, hoping to woo them to their side, and unsuccessful attempts were also made by the country right-wing sources to convince some of the elected People's Party parliamentarians to switch allegiance to the IGI. It has been said that they tried their best to buy the candidates by horse riding. This was very common. Horse बहुत ज़्यादा कोशिश की गई कि किसी न किसी तरह से लोगों को ख़रीद लिया जाए, और आईजीआई ने इसमें बड़ा रोल प्ले किया। इसके साथ साथ कुछ दीगर पार्टीज ने भी पीपल्स पार्टी के पार्लियामेंटेरियन को ख़रीदना चाहा, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं हुआ। Barhal Benazir formed a coalition with MQM to form the government. President Ghulam Hissa Khan was constitutionally obliged to invite Bhutto to form the next government, but was restrained to do so. But the due to growing pressure from the key allies like USA, he had to invite Benazir Bhutto to form his government. Bhutto formed a coalition with the Muttahida Qawmi Movement party, which had 13 seats in parliament. Ultimately, she became the first prime minister, women prime minister, female or woman prime minister in Pakistan. That was an Islamic world, as well as he was the youngest elected leader in Islamic world. He was the prime minister, youngest female ever elected prime minister in Islamic world as well. As after elections, party workers were encouraged to refer to her as Mohtarma, Mosma Benazir Bhutto, respected lady, because all their opponents were calling him with bad names and also putting different kinds of issues against her, and negatively criticized her career, her character as well as. So usually said her Mohsma Benazir Bhutto's first cabinet was the largest in Pakistan history. He appointed herself as the new Treasury Minister, with her mother as the senior minister without portfolio, and her father-in-law as the chairman of the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee. Questioning hopes that her administration would depart the embedded system of nepotism in the country. She continued the same system and favored her allies and favored people as well as. Benazir is released of a number of political prisoners detained under the Zia government, as well as lifting the country ban on trade unions and student associations and removing many of the constraints imposed on non-governmental organizations. This was a great work which has been done by Ms. Mohsema Benazir Bhutto, because during military regimes there were many restrictions which were against the democratic system. So as she came in the power in the government, she introduced all democratic behaviors in the country. She also introduced measures to lift the media censorship introduced by the military administration. This was again, she praised a lot on having on opting these kinds of liberty to media as well as people to speak, uh, to have a freedom of speech as well. When she came in the past, it has been said that the people of Pakistan had rejected biography and prejudiced in elections of women prime minister. It was an enormous honor and equal enormous responsibility. I had asked for this role. I had not asked for this mantle, but the forces of destiny and the forces of history and thrust me forward, and I felt privileged. बेनज़ीर भुट्टो ने जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर के तौर पे खिताब किया, तो वो अपनी ऑटोबायोग्राफी के अंदर लिखती हैं कि लोगों ने पाकिस्तान के लोगों ने अपनी हिस्ट्री में जो एक ख़ास किस्म का रवैया अपनाया हुआ था वो ख़त्म कर दिया और एक औरत को प्राइम मिनिस्टर इलेक्ट किया। और ये मेरी ऊपर बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि मैं उनकी ख्वाहिशात को पूरा करूं और हर एक की जो तारीख है वो लिखी जाती है और उसकी तकदीर जो है वो तारीख लिखती है। बहरहाल मेरे लिए ये बहुत बड़े प्राइड की बात है कि मैं पाकिस्तान की प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनी। Benazir Bhutto was a great example for all women in Pakistan as well as throughout the Islamic world. Benazir could be described as a liberal feminist, meaning that she worked within the confines of social structure to advocate for women advancement. She did not object to a arranged marriage by her parents, but rather used his adherence to social norms to appeal the more conservative masses. She wore a headscarf while running for office, but always wore it in a regal, loose way, a symbol of Islam. He participated in the nationwide debates of the time, including those on feminism and the Vietnam War. She attended several anti-war demonstrations in Boston and marched for third world rights. She credited her time in the USA as the birthplace of her activism, stating, "Coming to a land where there is a freedom, wherever young students can criticize the president without being sent to prison," fueled her belief in the democratic system. She was a great lady. There is no doubt. Um, she took part in many movements as well as she has a great hope for women in Pakistan who are facing different kinds of social and economic differences in Pakistan. Gender differences were there, but she just break up all that gender differences and empower put in his put her part in women empowerment. Benazir was a founding member of Council of Women World Leader, a group established in 1996. She appointed women judges and a women division in the government, headed by a senior female civil servants. She also oversaw the establishment of a women bank and all-female police stations. The fundamental Islamic laws introduced to restrict women's rights under Zia nevertheless remained in place, and no new legislation was put in place to empower women. Benazir's failure to remove the Hudud Ordinance brought criticism from liberal circles and damaged her relations with women's and human rights groups. Throughout her time in office, Benazir advocated for women empowerment through education and employment. He was also notably anti-abortion and fought misogynistic interpretation of Islam. Although she politically did little to help advance women, her status as a leader symbolized the normalization of women in politics and immediately countered the invisibility of women which was prevalent in Pakistan at that time. Benazir has to face so many problems during his initial period of government. Most of the administrations had the political experience, and various members of the People's Party old guards, including Mumtaz Ali Bhutto, left the party in frustration at the pro-capitalist directions she had taken. Following her elections, there remained significant mistrust between Bhutto and the right-wing military administration, who viewed her like her father as a threat of their dominant role in Pakistan political arena. Because during Bhutto regimes, he suspended many civil and military bureaucrats, and the people now in bureaucracy and establishment were thinking on same lines, as well as the opposition by IGI was substantial and contributed to Benazir's inability to pass any major legislation during her first term in office. And they resist a lot. They had a great, strong opposition against Benazir. The country's three most powerful figures, the army chief Aslam Beg, the ICI's chief Hamid Gul, and the president Ghulam Isa Khan, all had contempt for her family. Bhutto often argued with Benazir Bhutto often argued with Brigadier Gul, Chief Aslam Beg, Army Chief Aslam Beg, and Hamid Gul, and sometimes she has some arguments with Ghulam Khan as well as, and over her desired policies, and according to Alan, won some battles but ultimately lost the war against them. Beg made it to clear, Beg means Chief Aslam Beg, Army Chief Aslam Beg made it clear to Bhutto that the military would not tolerate her interference in their control of the defense and foreign affairs. She has to face a lot of problems from the main establishment and the main military and political bodies as prime minister, as well as president, who has control over cabinet and assembly uh, due to 8th amendment. There were so many other problems. Among the problem facing Pakistan when Bhutto took the prime ministership was soaring employment, high unemployment. The Pakistan government was bankrupt. Many of the promises she had made in her elections campaign were not delivered because the Pakistani state was unable to finance them. He had claimed that 1 million new homes would be built each year and that universal free education and healthcare would be introduced, none of which was economically feasible for her government to deliver. I think the same happened with Mr. Imran Khan nowadays, who promised with his nation but could not deliver. History is repeating once again, and it all due to bankruptcy in Pakistan. Our political leaders and elites, and especially industrialists and feudalists, capture the main money and bring it out from the country and have foreign accounts and so many other things, so that we have to face problems to deliver. Every government has faced to deliver according to their promises. Pakistan being among the world's largest heroin exporter and the drug use rapidly increasing domestically, Bhutto pledged that she would take tough actions on the powerful drug barons, but she was unable to break the chain. And you know very well during the Zia-ul-Haq regime, when we were working against Russia in through by having by supporting Mujahideen in Afghanistan. We have a great rush of heroin and weapons smuggling in Pakistan, and ultimately Pakistan was suffering with terrorism and smuggling issues as well as. So these were the basic issues which Benazir government has to face after dismissal. As well as Benazir Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif attempt to remove each other from power, with Bhutto accusing Sharif of having reached the elections to become chief minister. Sharif benefited from growing Punjabi Judaism towards the country's Sindhi majority. as well as the perception that Benazir Sindhi was attacking the Punjab. They used the ethnic issues एंड स्पेशली सबायत परस्ती जो है उन्होंने बहुत यूज़ किया, पंजाबी और सिंधी का नारा लगाया और एक दूसरे के ख़िलाफ़ सूबों को इस्तेमाल किया सिर्फ पॉलिटिक्स को अपनी चमकाने के लिए. Although Bhutto had long supported great autonomy for Pakistan provinces, she opposed it in the case of Punjab. Sharif Punjabi Authority refused to accept federal officials whom Bhutto posted there. So this was a great tussle among its federal establishment and provisional establishment. Relations between Pakistan civil services also deteriorated, causing paralysis of many state affairs. Benazir spoke of its Zia bureaucracy, and her perceived anti-Punjabi stance impacted many civil servants, of whom 80% were Punjabi. In April 1989, opposition party organized a parliamentary no confidence of vote in Benazir Bhutto's leadership, but his vote was defeated by 12 votes. Benazir Bhutto claimed that many National Assembly voters had been bribed to vote against her, with 10 million having been supplied to by a Saudi Salafi cleric, Osama bin Laden, who sought to overthrow her government and replace it with an Islamic theocracy. These are international and national conspiracies which were held during her regime. Has to face a number of issues, not only at inside the state. However, he has to face so many issues outside the states at regarding foreign policy of Pakistan. During her first premiership, Bhutto went on a number of foreign trips, enhancing her image as the first female prime minister in the Islamic world. In these, she sought to attract foreign investment and aid for Pakistan. She also made efforts to cultivate good relationship with the leaders of Islamic countries who had also good relations with her father, including Libya's Gaddafi, Sheikh Zayed from Abu Dhabi, and our Saudi royal family. In 1989, she attended the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Kuala Lumpur, where Pakistan was readmitted to the Commonwealth of Nations. In January 1989, she made a second pilgrimage to Mecca, and in June visit to USA to address both houses of Congress and giving the commencement speech at Harvard. She has a great military policy as well. As Premier, Benazir Bhutto was elected to challenge the ICI support for Islamic Mujahideen forces in Afghanistan, which were then engaged in a civil war against the country Marxist-Leninist government. The USA was funneling money to these Mujahideen through Pakistan, although preferred to deal directly with Brigadier Gul and Isa Khan rather than through Bhutto. In April 89, Gul led an invasion of Afghanistan with the purpose of seizing Jalalabad, which was then to be informed into a capital from which the country anti-Soviet Islamic dominated opposition forces could operate. When the operation failed and the Pakistani were driven out by the Afghan army, Gul blamed Bhutto administration for the failure, claiming that one in her encouraged and leaked details of mission of Afghan government. Hamid Gul was too powerful for Benazir Bhutto to force him into retirement, but in May 1989, she transferred him from the ICI to another section of the military, placing a more trusted military figure in his role. However, her narrow majority in the National Assembly had left her unable to reverse many of the Islamic reforms that Zia had introduced. She did not repeal the Hudud Ordinance, which remained in law until 2006. Throughout her first term, Bhutto was criticized for being indecisive and unable to maintain control. There had been anger that her husband had been allowed to attend cabinet meeting despite not being a member of the government. He was also accused of receiving kickbacks and gained the nickname Mr. the 10%. The ICA had extensively spied upon Benazir and her husband throughout her period in office. President Khan privately made plaintiffs to file corruption suit against Bhutto's husband, while the investigation into his corruptions were therefore politically motivated. There also was significant evidence of his guilt in this regard. Tales of corruption in public sector industries began to surface, which undermined the credibility of Benazir. The unemployment and labor strikes began to take place which halted and jammed the economic wheel of the country. And Bhutto was unable to solve these issues due to Cold War with the president. In August 1990, Khan dismissed Bhutto's government under the 8th Amendment of the Constitution. He claimed that this was necessary owing to her government corruption and inability to maintain law and order. A caretaker government under the control of former Pakistan People's Party member Ghulam Mustafa Jutai was sworn in with Khan's declaring a state of national assembly. बेनज़ीर भुट्टो के पे शायद खुद तो इतने ज़्यादा करप्शन के केसेस नहीं थे, लेकिन उन्होंने बहुत ज़्यादा सपोर्ट किया नेपोटिज्म को, स्पेशली अपने हस्बैंड की जो इलीगल सारा बिजनेस था, और वो जो मिस्टर 10% के हवाले से मशहूर हुए और मशहूर रहे और बहुत अरसा जेल भी काटी, और यही वो सबब था कि जिसकी वजह से उनकी हुकूमत जो है और वो जनरल हमीद कुल और फ़ौज के साथ अच्छे ताल्लुकात ना बना सकी। और हम ये भी देखते हैं कि एक ऑपरेशन midnight operation Jackal and dismissal of Benazir Bhutto hui. In the ICI's organization operate midnight Jackal, through which they should use bribery and intimidation or to discourage National Assembly members from voting with the People's Party. By 1990, the revolution of midnight Jackal lessened President Ghulam Isa Khan influence in national politics, government and the military. In 1990s, ethnic violence and broken in Sindh. The most of these killing Muhajirs late in 1989. The MQM, whose party represented Muhajirs' interests, left Bhutto's coalition government and joined the parliament elections. The MQM then joined other voices in calling for general strike in protest at her government. In May 1990, she ordered the army to restore peace in Karachi and Hyderabad within months of Bhutto's elections. Dissolutions had set in among her liberal supporters. In August 1990, Ghulam Isa Khan dismissed Bhutto government under the 8th Amendment of the Constitution. He claimed that this was necessary owing to her amendment of the Constitution. He claimed that this was necessary owing to her government corruption and inability to maintain law and order. A caretaker government under the control of former Pakistan People's Party member Ghulam Mustafa Jutai was sworn with Khan declaring a state of national assembly. सारी कॉन्स्पिरेसी को ख़त्म कर दिया गया। भुट्टो ने बेनज़ीर भुट्टो ने अपनी एक किताब लिखी डॉटर ऑफ ईस्ट के नाम से, और उसको इन ब्रिटिश एडिशन और डॉटर ऑफ डेस्टिनी इन द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के अंदर, जिसमें उन्होंने अपनी और अपनी वालिद के ख़िलाफ़ जितनी भी कॉन्स्पिरेसीज़ हुई उनको खोला और लिखा, और किस तरह से उनकी वालदा को भी एलिगेशंस का सामना करना पड़ा। फिर उन्होंने ये कहा कि लोगों ने उनको उकसाया कि वो बुर्का पहने, और अगर वो उन्होंने इस्लामिक स्टेट की एक हेड रहना, जो कि उनके लिए पॉसिबल नहीं था, तो वो सब बातें उन्होंने अपनी ऑटोबायोग्राफी लिखी, और वो बहुत मशहूर अपने दौर की प्राइम मिनिस्टर रही। उन्होंने दोबारा भी हुकूमत ली, किस तरह से ली हम इसको इंशाल्लाह अपने नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में देखेंगे। थैंक यू।